thrift shop, and it was less than $10.
Good morning. What day is it? You're right. Friday. Yes, what are you going to do?
There's an old curiosity shop. Every once in a while I go by there for the fond recollections that lie there in that old curiosity shop.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the front porch of the 1925 bungalow. I'm Scott. Today is part 3 of my wonderful shopping trip that I had. The first shopping trip since returning to South Jersey from my trip to Kentucky. Everything was bought in one day. Now, yesterday's video we saw part 2, which was actually the first thrift haul. Almost exclusively consisted of the glass that I purchased. Part 1 was actually the shopping trip itself, and today, part 3, we're going to look at everything else, which includes pottery, artwork, some art deco, and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It's morning time, and late morning, and I'm out here, I'm getting ready to finish this piece of toast, and I'm eating it on a 1940s anchor hocking moonstone. That's actually a saucer. But because there's not a big indentation, it works really well for a dessert plate or a bread and butter plate. So let me have a little bite of this raisin toast. You guys have a little bite of whatever, whatever it is you're snacking on. And we'll put that down there and hope that a spider doesn't come in here and get it. I've got to clean this porch. It is screened in, and it's warm this morning, but not quite as hot as it was. There goes my neighbor. Not quite as hot as it was late last night when I filmed at about 6 o'clock in the evening. All right, let's take a look at what's what. And where should I begin but with this? Now, this wonderful old, that's a nice old cutout silhouette that I managed to throw on the floor and break the glass, as you can see. All right, I'm gonna have to cut myself a new piece of glass for that, but I'll do that. Not a big problem, although I wasn't very happy with myself. If you saw in the first video, you know I looked up the patent number on that clasp, and I had a feeling that this went back to the 1930s, and indeed it does. That clasp was patented, I think, in 1932 or 33, and you can tell that this is all hand done. It's all hand painted around there, and so something really nice from the 1930s. I also bought this. This is the one piece of glass I didn't show you yesterday. A beautiful pressed glass, iridescent marigold carnival glass bowl. Now this will go way back to the first 1904, 1910, 1915, as late as 1920. And I don't think it was ever made as a punch bowl. You know that the punch bowls would have a separate base, a separate stand, and we always find those stands referred to as vases when we find them in antique shops and thrift shops when they've been separated from their punch bowl. Now, could have been a punch bowl, but I'm gonna go just with a large fruit bowl, mostly because of this embossed inside. I've never seen a punch bowl that has this type of decoration on the inside where the glass is, you see, but I suppose it could have been anyway. I'm going to be using it in the autumn season as a fruit bowl. Who knows, we might might end up selling it next October or next September. We'll have to see. Look at this. This came from a thrift shop, and it was less than $10. This electrified cranberry lamp with the shade. Look at this. Can you believe it? In excellent condition with no problems on it at all. That's going to be for sale. Going to be. There's my little Star Wars earrings of Darth Vader and the stick pin on their old original little packaging there. It says 1977. I got to thinking about it, and I do remember being taken to the movie theater, and I want to say it was in 1976. Is that the year it came out? We were down at the shore that week, and we saw Star Wars in one of the big old movie theaters on the boardwalk. Those movie theaters are not open anymore, but they were in the mid-70s. I would have been close to 10 years old, and I'm not a science fiction fan, so it wasn't a big deal for me. I would have much rather been out swimming in the ocean, but it was a big deal, and my cousins were there, and I think my father and my uncle took us to see it when it first came out, and I want to say it was in 76. I've been looking around, and I don't know who made these. I briefly looked through one of my McCoy books and didn't see anything, so I'm not sure who it is. I really like this pottery, American-made pottery cookie jar. Maybe you can help me out on it. The only thing, and you're going to see water falling out of things occasionally, because I washed everything, and it's so hot, I figured I'm not going to waste my time drying it, especially pottery. It'll dry out here on the front porch. Anyway, all we have on the bottom of it is USA, which it's kind of hard for you to see that, but that's what it is on the bottom. USA, and we see that a lot on pottery that has no other markings on it. The condition on this is excellent. I'll let you decide what color that is, because everybody will have a different thought on it, but there's no chips or cracks, no crazing, and I couldn't imagine that would have survived in any better condition. Here's another one that has the same glaze and was probably made by the same company, and it also simply has USA on the bottom of it. And I'll hold this up for you. Take a look at that one. Now, this is pottery, and so this is all cold painting done after the fact. I'm not a big chippy paint fan, but I'm going to leave this alone. There's enough of it there that we'll let the new owner decide what they want to do with it. But I wouldn't repaint it, and I wouldn't remove that. I think it looks nice just like that. And if you don't like the painted side, then you could display it that way. But you see what I mean? They both have the same glaze, and I think this is the same company, and somebody collected these. I bought both of these together in one thrift shop. And I think this was in the original video from 2 days ago. No condition problems on it. Again, who made these? Somebody out there is going to know. I'm much better with my glass than I am my pottery, but probably made in Ohio in the 1940s. Here's another big, beautiful piece of pottery. Now, this one is really missing a lot of its paint on the front, but again, I'm going to leave it the way that it is. I like it on that side. Beautiful black glaze. It's in excellent condition. Look at the lid on the top. I guess we're talking about an old cookie jar from the 40s. Nothing on the bottom of this in terms of any mark or anything. Nope. This is not the same pottery company as the other two that I showed you, but beautiful. And it has that sort of 1930s look to it. Yeah, I'm still sitting here and I can't believe myself that one shopping day I came home with all of this. And we haven't even gotten, I forgot last night to show you all of these cruets. All right, I got some Art Deco chrome. There's a tray with a lucite handle. And there's one with red Bakelite or Catalan handles. Art Deco 1930s chrome serving pieces. Here's this beautiful old oak box that we saw in the video. And I know what velvet is. You know, it's funny when you're filming, sometimes words just don't come to you. And I'm sitting there going, felt, I knew it wasn't felt. But when you're talking and filming, sometimes your words don't, they get, you know, they don't go where they're supposed to go. So a nice old oak box, probably at least from 1920 or before. And who knows what was in it. Could have been a million different things in that box. That'll get sold at some point as well, unless I decide to use it. I didn't bring this whole set out. The rest of it is in the kitchen. But I'm going to keep, because I've had before the corn plate and the little corn dishes. So we've got the big serving platter, and only 5 of these. There would have been 6. Made in Japan in the late in the 1930s. Now you say, that's not from the 30s. We had that at home in the 1960s. Well, you very well may have had this at home in the 1960s, but it does date to the 30s. That's that made in Japan mark back there, and this Majolica glaze that you see, and that made in Japan stamp right there that's under the glaze. That's a 30s era design and piece. And so the sun, we've got a little cloud cover here. I hope you can still see me. I don't know if the lighting is good enough. You know, I was thinking that even when I go to my mother's house, she pulls out stuff that she got as wedding gifts in 1964. Was she married in 64? I think she was married in 64. And so she's, you know, mixing bowls and pitchers and different things she's still using, and they're older than I am. So you can have things floating around in your kitchen that's quite old, but absolutely 1930s as we go back in time on those pieces. I'm gonna keep those. Gingham, is that the gingham pattern? I think it's Vernon Kilns, and it's a set of 3 mixing bowls. These are wet, I didn't dry these. Yep, it's Vernon ware, authentic Vernon ware, made in USA. That's that pretty gingham pattern. These mixing bowls are in excellent condition, and there's 3 of them that nest. So someone might really enjoy those to use during the autumn season. And you can get all kinds of sugar bowls and everything with that. You can get a dinner set with that. Is it Tressman and Vogt? I can't. I'm not the porcelain guy. You go and watch Living the Good Life. That's the porcelain lady right there. She can tell you from a mile away. The marks on these are so faint. I do think I see RS Prussia on these. I do. So I've got an RS Prussia cream and sugar bowl. Aren't they beautiful? I hope the sunlight doesn't wash out the delicate colors. These are all hand painted, beautiful RS Prussia china, or porcelain rather. This little cream and sugar. These are the ones I think are T and V. Well, this one just says Limoges, France, which of course we know isn't a company, but the region of France where all of this is made. I think it is washing out a little bit. There's the teapot. Beautiful little tiny teapot. The Limoges mark is on the bottom. And this is whoever painted it. This P. Jones, that would be the person that painted it. Yeah, I think the sunlight now is washing this out. So really pretty. And there's the matching cream pitcher to go with it. And sugar, honey, honey. The sugar bowl as well. So all 3 pieces, beautiful. They will be for sale at some point somewhere down the line. So you stay tuned to the Old Curiosity Shop, or you're gonna miss something. I'm not sure when these will be processed, but you make sure. Now here's something I almost never say, and you know this. You almost never hear me say, make sure you like and subscribe and share and click and not because I don't want you to, but I feel like at this point, you guys have been watching enough YouTube. You already know if it's a channel that you like, you're gonna subscribe to it. So I don't say that every video, but please do. I guess I'll say it in this one. I'd love it if you'd subscribe. I have a lot of viewers who aren't subscribers. Subscribing doesn't cost anything. I don't find out who you are. You can do that. You can go in there and find out who subscribes and who doesn't. I can just see every once in a while when I look at the analytics that 6,000 people watched a video, but only 2,000 of them are actually subscribers. So I can see big numbers like that, but I don't see anything beyond that. But I'd love it if you'd subscribe, because it does help the channel, and then you won't miss things. You'll get a notification when I do the videos, and I'll always let you know this is going in the eBay store, or this will be in tomorrow night's live sale, or thus and such. Okay, enough about that little self-promoting commercial. At least it's early enough in the morning that we don't have anybody running their air fryers. Wasn't that silly yesterday? I said, I was thinking air blower, whatever it is. You know, all these pieces of lawn equipment are somewhat new to me after living in the city for 20 years. So, you know, that thing that they turn on and it blows the grass everywhere. And I said air fryer, but I meant blower. Nobody's doing it yet today. All right, let's keep going. Your video is a half an hour long because you're running your lips about stuff that people don't want to hear. There's a fruit tin. I like that, probably from the probably from the 40s or 50s. And it says fruits and nuts covered, chocolate covered. L. Siegel and Company, Philadelphia, 3 pounds of candy there. I just like old tins, and that wasn't that expensive, so I got that. This is just going to be for like a World War II collector. There's probably no value to this, but I couldn't. I mean, what did I pay? I paid $1.45. No, I couldn't not buy that when I was in the store. And it just says E Pluribus Unum, United States Treasury War Finance Committee for the Township of Weehawken, New Jersey. This citation is awarded to John Armstrong. What a name. In appreciation for the patriotic service rendered, blah, 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 blah. The War Finance Committee, 1944. No, it does not have there is an original signature of the general chairman, and that is John something Meister. I don't know. So probably no value to that at all, except for somebody who might be interested in World War II memorabilia. I've got 9 cruets to show you, and we're going to go quickly because I don't know who made any of them. That Pabst Blue Ribbon clock is over there, and I'm not going to go get it. You saw it in the first video. It's plastic. It's from the late 70s, and it will be for sale. These I probably shouldn't have bought. There's probably no value to this. I'm probably going to have to just hang this in my basement. I don't think anybody's going to buy these from me. But we have 2 old Philadelphia scenes. These are old prints, matted prints. And we won't spend too much time looking at those. I know there's a glare and it makes it difficult. What I really love is on the backs, these old backs. Look at the old sticker there from the art store. Now I'll show it to you, but it says David Bendan's Fine Art Rooms, 100 Baltimore Street, Baltimore. There's no date, but that sure does look like an Art Nouveau style label on the back, does it not? Isn't that cool? So I really like the labels from the art store. Even a little bit more than the prints. And then there's a little quote down there from, is it Benjamin Franklin? So these are old. These probably are 100 years old, these prints. And they haven't faded too badly. So it's okay. Colonial era prints of scenes in Philadelphia. There's a second one. They were $3.95 each. And again, those wonderful old stickers on the back from the original art shop in Baltimore. So there was just something about them. I had to have them. Now, you saw in that first video, I was able to figure out who I thought this was a man because it said G-E-N, but G-E-N doesn't stand for general, it stands for Genevieve. And we've already looked this up. Now this is a female artist, and you can go back to that first video. I haven't still done much digging around to find out about her. I think she passed away in the 80s, but did an awful lot in the 1940s and 50s. These are the original frames and the original mats that she used. And this is a finger paint artist. Yeah, so this is all finger painting that she did. She had a studio in wait a minute. She had a studio. Her name is Genevieve Matucha, M-A-T-U-C-H-A, and her studio was at 751 North Highland Avenue in Hollywood, California. I paid $10 each for this original art, and we'll let you say, hold it still and let us see it. All right, look at, now she signed it down there. This is hard because I can't see what I'm doing. And this is finger paint art. Look at that. So these have to go back to the 40s or the 50s. There's one. The condition is super fantastic. Really nice work. It might not be to everyone's taste. You might be surprised that I'm attracted to it, but I am. I do like some of the artwork from the 40s. This is an original water color. That's beautiful. It's unsigned. It's not a print. I looked at it very closely. Are they birch trees? But a beautiful original watercolor in a frame. I paid $3. I paid $2.95. See? I think it was a $3, but the lady charged me $2. I said, all right. I don't know how old that is, but it's at least as old as I am. Can tell by kind of the style of the frame, the way it's framed. It's beautiful. There might be something behind the brown paper. Who knows? Who's not going to buy that for $2.95? There, I got the glare off of it. Yeah. I don't know. I do know about this piece because we got a lot of provenance on it. Now this is a funny little thing. All right, it's framed, but I've got to do a lot of work on this. This is like plastic wrap, not glass or plexiglass, but like saran wrap. I got to get it off because this is chalk and some of it is lifting. You know those antique chalk if paintings and things from 100 years ago? This isn't that old. If you have glass on it, moisture will get under there and the chalk will lift and it will get on the glass. I got to get this plastic off of here and stop any more of this from lifting. But look at that. Now the funny thing is, and I don't know if this ruins it, but the artist scratched on here for Irene and Alan, S.B. Applebaum. Now S.B. Applebaum is the artist, and he gave this to Irene and Alan, and he scratched it right on the work of art. I don't know whether you can see it. Now how do I know all of that? Look at the provenance on the back. I'm going to show it to you, but let me read to you. This is from the Sarasota Weekend newspaper, May the 2nd, 1986. Let me turn around. Provenance is wonderful. And and it's a newspaper clipping. That's the dude right there who is the artist. And it says 95-year-old artist's exhibition. An area resident who started taking art lessons at 90 has become an accomplished artist at 95. Samuel B. Applebaum, and that's who signed it on the front. Samuel B. Applebaum will be given his first extended exhibition during the month of May at the West Side branch of Barnett Bank of Manatee County. The retired executive and professionals of MCC will have its official, okay, blah, 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 blah. The public is blah, blah, blah. Applebaum, has donated more than 50 works to set up a scholarship fund according to, okay, this goes on and on and on. Applebaum's paintings, all matted and covered and framed, are steel at $30 to $65 each. Some may call him the new Grandpa Moses, the art world. Okay, so that's who painted it. There's Mr. Applebaum. I have not gone on the internet and looked at anything. These may not sell at all. They might sell for $2. They might sell for $50. I haven't even had a moment to do that. Maybe you'll do it for me and let me know. Scott, it's worth $1 million. But there he is. And then look at these little stickers here that someone also taped on there. They say, Dear Irene and Alan. Now that's who he inscribed this painting to. He says, Dear Irene and Alan, what you have is a Sam Appleton impression of Monet's Riverside. Note how, I can't read this because it got wet. Love and best wishes. P.S. The painting doesn't need plastic. If you like it, write to Sam Applebaum, and they give Sam Applebaum's address at that time in Florida. So somebody had this appraised or something, and apparently he was still living, and they could have written to him. So, you know what? Maybe they did. Maybe they went and visited him and had him scratch on the front of his artwork to Irene and Alan, Sam Applebaum. Anyway, it's pretty. I'm going to get this plastic off of here so that this chalk or whatever it is, and it looks like chalk, so that no more of it lifts. What do you think? What did I pay for it? $2.95. Hello, squirrel. I'll give you some peanuts in a minute. All right. Love, 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 love. Where are we? We're at 30 minutes. We're not going to go for an hour. Let's whip through these cruets as quickly as I can. I purchased 9 glass cruets. They were about $1.89 each. They're in good condition. Some of them have original stoppers. It will be a lot of fun to sit down and go through my EAPG books and try to figure out what these cruets, who made these cruets, but they're old, and I mean old. Let's go through them rather quickly. This, we can easily see that the stopper matches the cruet. That's original. Fantastic. Sometimes you can't tell if the stopper is original or not. And those of you who love your EAPG, maybe you already know some of the names of the patterns. We'll call that cruet number 1. Here's cruet number 2. Look at that sort of thumbprint. That's an original top. That reminds me of the little light on my father's Lionel train set that would spin around. Hold it back. There's cruet number 2. These have to be Victorian era into about 1920. There's cruet number 3. Wouldn't you have bought all of these? They're beautiful. Now again, I don't, sometimes you're going to have to assume that some of the stoppers aren't original. Cruet, here's cruet number 4. And there's moisture inside because I washed them, but I didn't get all of the water out. A lot of them have polished or unpolished pontils. So probably all American made and blown in molds. Here comes cruet number 5. Handsome. Look at the stopper on that. You would have bought these, wouldn't you, for $1.98 each? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's cruet number 6. None of them are signed or marked anywhere that I can see. Now, how am I going to sell these? You give me your advice. I might not listen to you, but you can tell me what you think, and I might listen to you. Would you sell the collection? Would you sell them, one at a time at a live sale? Look at that. Is that thistles on there or cherries? It's hard to tell. I think it's thistles. I mean, cruets. We're not talking about Tiffany glass here. I don't think there's any great value, but they're beautiful. Now I've lost count. I think this is number 8. That was number 7. This, I think, is cruet number 8. Look at the handle on that one. This is just beautiful. And then finally, up here, I think this is cruet number 9. That. So 9 beautiful old glass cruets, American pressed glass, EAPG. And yeah, I'd love to know how you think I should sell them. What would you do? How would you market them? I think I showed you everything except that Pabst Blue Ribbon clock, and I'm not going to go over there and get it. Let me do a double. Oh no, we got one more thing. This is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. Now, watch out. This is where you've really got to dig. Now, you already know this is Jennings Brothers because I talked about it in the first video. Now, you may say, how do you know it's Jennings Brothers? Well, JB. You see that JB and then the number? JB is Jennings Brothers. The number is a catalog number or a foundry, something to do with the, that's not the year. This wasn't made in 1745, but that's important, and I'm going to come back to that. It's not missing anything. This is exactly the way it was cast. They didn't include the winged victory statue on the top. That would have been too difficult to put that on there. So this was the way it was made. Jennings Brothers in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Top quality art metal company. Doesn't get much better than that. The quality of their work was fantastic. Look at the casting. I'm going to spin it all around. This was probably part of a desk set. It would have had a liner on the inside. You wouldn't have seen this roughness. There would have been cloth, silk here, and the way jewelry caskets are made. So, yeah, a gift item, but very well made by Jennings Brothers. Now, here comes the fun part. When you are doing your research, people often, well, sometimes people think, well, I'm always anti-Googling everything. I'm not. The problem is, when you Google something, you must never, ever, ever stop there. You can start there, but you've got to keep studying. Why? A couple reasons. If you Google this, and you type in Jennings Brothers 1745 Capital Trinket Box, whatever. one will come up. The first one that comes up is an eBay listing. And without clicking on it, you'll see that the person selling it is asking $135. And people say, oh, it's worth $135. It is not. I wish it were. It isn't worth anywhere close to that. Anybody can price anything any way they want. You know that. Now, if you click on that link and dive a little deeper and actually go to the eBay auction for this piece, the asking price was $135, but they have lowered it to $27, and it still doesn't have any bids, and it still hasn't sold. So you can't just quickly look at something on the internet and go, ooh, ooh, ooh. Here's something else. I'm going to insert some pictures of this, and I want you to tell me what looks different. Now, let me slide my head over here. Now, you look right there. Look at those pictures, and look at this. What do you see that's different? What do you see? You say, well, the top of it looks the same, but how come the base is different? What's going on? Aha, that's right. The base is not the same on this one. Now, how come is that? Well, how come is that is because when Jennings Brothers went out of business sometime in the 1950s, their molds were sold to a company in Philly. And they continue to use those molds, but the castings are inferior to what Jennings Brothers did, and they also made some changes. So the pictures you were looking at, the top was the same. They used the mold for the top, but for whatever reason, maybe the bottom mold was destroyed or damaged, or for whatever reason, they have a whole different mold in the 50s for the base. And I had somebody write to me and they said, oh, that's not that old because we bought one in the 50s. You might have bought one in the 50s. I'm sure you did buy one in the 50s. But the one that you bought in the 50s is undoubtedly the one made by, and I don't know which company it is, but whatever company it was that got the molds and recast these in the 50s. Yeah, so watch out. The quality of the pieces that were made by that Philadelphia company are not nearly as good as the castings made by original Jennings Brothers. And also on the base of the one made in the 50s, the number changes. So they still carried the JB. That's what's tricky. You'll still see JB for Jennings Brothers. They didn't take that off. They should have. But they do change the numbers. So the one made in the 50s says JB, and I think the number under there might be 1958, which could just be a number, or it could be the year. So I hope that all my rambling isn't making you confused. It's just, there's always a story behind anything, and when you're appraising something, when you're trying to figure out what is it worth, how old is it, who made it, you really have to, this is what makes this hobby so much fun. There's so much to learn, there's so many things to study, and you can just drive yourself crazy trying to figure things out. But this is the old original antique made by Jennings Brothers with really good quality. I thought that was really interesting to kind of dive into that. Okay, now it is 40 minutes, and I told you we weren't going to go as long today, but we did. Now it's time to get all this stuff back in the house, get it on the shelves, and decide when I'm going to sell it and how I'm going to sell it. But we keep on moving because I've got to get right back out there and do some more sourcing today. Well, that's it. What did you like? What didn't you like? I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad you enjoy the shopping trips. They're not all fantastic like that, as you know, but when they're good, they're really good. That's it. Have yourselves a lovely, it's Friday. Okay, it's Friday. Remember, I'm headed down the shore in a couple of days, and I'll be taking you with me because we're going to do some antiquing in Asbury Park. We are going to visit the site of the tragic disaster of the Morro Castle. We're going to take a look at that. What does it look like today? What happened on the Jersey Shore back in the 1930s with the Morro Castle? You might already know that and you might not, but I'm going to take you to that spot and we're going to talk about it. We're also going to see some more of beautiful Ocean Grove, and so I hope you'll stay tuned over the next several days. And don't forget to join me next Monday night for the live sale. I'll be down the shore, but it'll be on David's channel. That's the Texas channel, Vintage Uprising Texas, and he's hosting at this time 9 o'clock, and on his channel I'll tell you more about that before Monday night, but I think you already know that. Okay, that's it. I got stuff to do, and so do you. Thanks for watching. Happy to have you with me this morning, and don't you forget to wait for that cat. And now I better get out there and throw some peanuts at this squirrel so that he's satisfied and he leaves my attic alone. So long for now.